Hello, I'm Leah.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
You as well. Thanks for talking to me
Not
today.
at all.
All right. What surprised you most about either Nicky's story or just this corner of history?
I I think that I wasn't really aware of the obstacles that they faced trying to rescue these children. The Britain had been in a terrible depression in the 1930s. Obviously, America had as well. And so there was tremendous reluctance towards taking any kind of refugees. There was a sense that the kind of national need was already very great. So trying to get visas for any people to get out of Czechoslovakia was incredibly difficult. And paperwork is not the easiest thing to dramatize, but like hours and hours spent, filling out forms and applying to individual visa and passport people, was incredibly time consuming and incredibly hard, and they had to get individual families to agree to host these children. And also, I thought that I had a very vague sense that maybe the children were orphans, perhaps, or I really just didn't know enough about it, and I didn't understand that the families, the parents gave the children to this agency that they worked for, because they knew they were going to get murdered, I think. And so that aspect of the film, the kind of terrible decisions that were made by individuals to kind of save the life of their children, knowing that they would potentially never see them again, was something that, I had to very quickly familiarize myself with.
Well, yeah, and I mean the fact that they did it over 600 times is like astounding.
Yeah, I mean, it was really every single visa had to be really fought for. And the fact that they achieved that amount, although Nicholas Winton went to his grave saying he didn't do enough, and obviously mourning the loss of the final train terribly, every single one of those visas was a tremendous amount of individual work. Every single one of those lives was saved, by a group of people who really did everything that they could.
um, you've played a number of historical figures before, real people, I should say. What This is so general, but like, how do you approach those differently?
Different, how do I approach different people differently, or different from fictional
Different
characters?
fictional characters.
I think you have a duty of care to real people. I feel a tremendous responsibility playing a real person. I always try to imagine that they are alive. If they aren't alive, I try to imagine thinking about how they would want to be represented. I don't feel that comfortable with kind of being fanciful or playful with the truth of people's lives. I always do as much reading as I possibly can, and yeah, and just try to do them the service of being, of being truthful. Yeah.
What did you Is there anything that stood out when you were reading about during?
There was a lot. I mean, she wrote a diary of her time in the war that she published after the war, and there's a collected letters as well, because she was at the time, she was this incredibly unusual woman. She graduated from Cambridge with a degree in economics in the 1920s, which for a woman to do at the time is like, completely unheard of. And she never married, she didn't have children, she taught and lectured in economics, she was a linguist, and then she went to Czechoslovakia and saved like hundreds of people's lives, and then went back to the UK and never mentioned it again. She's like an incredibly extraordinary person. And I think, I think it's difficult. I'm a parent, and like, it reminds you that if you are uncoupled from family, which she really was, how her potential as a person to really give to the world like really exploded. And she gave this kind of incredible contribution, because she had an education, because she was able to enjoy freedom, and I suppose she was a woman that you really see at this turning point in history, enjoying all the privileges that only very, very recently women
Yeah.
had been gifted.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Have a
so
great
much.
day.